What's going on, guys? It's the Brigade once again, and we're back at it with another session of Killzone Shadow Fall. Alright guys, so I've been playing a lot of Killzone Shadow Fall lately. And as some of you guys may know, I took a brief hiatus because Dark Souls 2 came out. I beat the game a few times, but now I'm back at it with the Killzone Shadow Fall multiplayer. And one thing that I have noticed, and you know what, I've noticed it in the past, but one thing that I have really noticed, especially within the last few days, is a lot of clans teaming up in pubs. Right, so I'm going to dedicate much of this particular commentary to just talking about clans, what I think clans, should be for. And the difference between just buddying up and partnering up with clans. Now, for a lot of you guys that got your radars up, you're kind of on the defense already because I may have a conversation about clans. Please make sure you hear me out before you hear one or two things and then start finger jamming the keyboard. Now, let me just give you a backstory, and then I'll start talking. I'll start getting into the dialogue after that. So, I was a part of a clan. When Killzone first came out, I was in clans before in previous Killzone games. So when Killzone Shadow Fall came out, I gave it a couple weeks to get familiar with the game's mechanics and the aiming and everything. So I was thinking about coming up, either creating my own or becoming a part of a clan. Right? Now, I didn't really find enough players who would be committed to participating in a clan. So this is why I didn't create my own. Right? I did have like one or two guys that was, that let me know like, hey, Brigade, you create a clan, I'm in there like swimwear. But I didn't really have a full team who would be committed to, participating in clan battles. So I received an invite from a person that I just so happened to do a lot of pubs with, and I accepted the invite. Now, once I accepted the invite, we would go ahead, put our mics on, we would partner up, team up, but in most cases we would end up doing pubs. And during those pubs, dude, we would basically just dominate the opposition, dominate them. And after doing that a few times, I'm sitting there and I'm like, dude, we're not gonna, just go ahead, occupy a few maps, learn the maps, talk about some strategies. We're not gonna do anything like that. Like, we're not gonna prepare for any clan battles. Like, dude, if the only thing we're gonna do is dominate pubs, then basically I'm out of here, right? Because when I think of clans, I think of competitive gameplay. I'm thinking of matching yourself against other competitive teams. Because think about it. When most people put clans together, they're not putting together noobs. Like, in other words, I'm not saying that KDR is, a huge indicator of anything. But a lot of people on face value like to look at stats. You just cannot deny that. A lot of people on face value, they look at stats and they make assumptions. Sometimes those assumptions are wrong. But anyway, so when you really look at a lot of clans, in a lot of cases, there are people who are members of those clans with good stats, right? Good KDRs, good team win ratios, good team win percentages, the whole nine. So it's not just random people. It's pretty much the creme, the creme de la creme, the cream of the crop based upon your circle of friends. Now, keep in mind, I'm not saying that they're the, cream of the crop out of all players. I'm saying they're the cream of the crop in the circle of people that you know. So that's why I left that particular clan. Lo and behold, I meet up with them in this particular match. And, the same thing that caused me to leave the clan is the exact same thing that I caught them doing in this particular video. And the main reason why, I'm recording this, but, I'm kind of adding commentary to this particular video, because there's one guy that always sends me hate mail out of the clan. always sends me hate mail. And the thing is about it is, I'm like, dude, I don't even know you. Right? Like, in other words, I was in the clan. I stated that I was interested in doing competitive matches. You guys weren't interested in it. I left. No hard feelings. I don't even know you people. But each and every time he always sends me, just hate mail, like saying something like, I'm glad you left the clan. You're not all that and all that. And I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, who cares anything about being all that? And even if I'm not all that, I'm actually flattered that you would continue to send me hate mail, because it should be beneath you to send a bad player fan mail. I mean, like, in other words, it's almost to the equivalent of Mike Tyson before he went to the joint, right? Yeah, like, in other words, Mike Tyson in his prime. Like, if he were to brag about beating up on a crackhead in the hood, like, dude, that's actually bringing you down by doing that. So it's actually flattering that a person who, continues to tell me how bad I am, every single time I matched up with them, and like 9 times out of 10, I get most kills. Sometimes I also get most mission points. But let me go ahead and digress, because it's not even about that individual. So be that as it may, let's talk about clans. Now, me personally, when I think of clans, I think of people who enjoy the game, but they don't necessarily like the public war zones. They like to play against other competitive players, other, relatively good players. So they come up with clans to do that, right? So they come up with clans, they create them, they organize them, and then they meet up, coordinate, and they schedule scrimmages against other competitive teams, not just to dominate pubs. Now, there's 2 sides to this argument. There's the side that I have, which is, listen, I understand that you guys, like playing with peers and all that, but come on, dude. You guys are all clanned up, and, you just ensure that anytime you guys are playing, it's like 6 or 7 of you in pubs. Like, how do you really feel good about dominating pubs? And it's not just this clan. Like, it's several clans that I've been running into within the last few days. And, I'm not going to name the clans because they know who they are. And I think the naming of the clans is really irrelevant to the topic that I'm talking about. The point is, I don't really understand why people would create clans, team up with clan members, if they're only going to play in pubs. Dude, there are a lot of competition out there. ID, as far as I know, is probably the best clan out there in Killzone Shadow Fall. You have PKY, 7 Sins, and I know some of these names from like previous Killzone titles. Right? You have PKY, 7 Sins. You have ID. You have a few others, but those are like 3 good ones that I can think of off the top of my head. So in other words, I can understand if it's like, well, hey, I mean, we play in teams all the time. Not only do we play in pubs, but we also coordinate scrimmages. I can even understand that. But a lot of these guys are not even organizing themselves to fight against other competitive teams and scrimmages. So my question to some of you guys who participate in Killzone Shadow Fall, because actually what I like to call pub stars, these pub star clans are doing, they're actually making the war zones unplayable for a lot of these new guys. Because keep in mind, they have this thing that they call matchmaking. And I think when you don't have clans teaming up, right, getting the whole cream of the crop bunched up to dominate pubs, when you don't do that, it's not really all that bad, right? Because I play pubs a lot. Now, actually, I became part of 2 clans. The reason why I quit is because we don't have the full clan support right now, right? They're kind of rolling it out in stages. And until we are fully able to take advantage of the clan support, meaning we have rankings, we can organize matches, and we have like charts, leaderboards, and the whole 9 as far as clans are concerned, I really don't see a point of becoming a part of a clan. Like, in other words, even if I want to play with my buddies, which I hear them say all the time, dude, I have people on my friend list, right? Case in point, shout out to One Hit a Quitter. Dude, if I see him playing, I'll pair off with him. Shout out to good old King 67. I pair off with that guy whenever I see him on. But, is a condition for me to play that I must have at least 5 or 6 of my friends because I'm so worried about my KDR going down, or that I'm so worried about, my team wins going down. Because for a lot of these guys that like dominate pubs, dude, I have been in chats with these guys and I will listen to them say, I cannot play in pubs by myself because my KDR will go down. Dude, these guys are KDR whores. Like, flat out. These guys are statistic whores. And the thing is, dude, enjoy the game. Who cares ultimately? Who really cares about stats other than yourself? Like, is it something that you can pride yourself after? Yeah, I mean, it's something that you can pride yourself after. But who really cares? Because in other words, there are a lot of people who have stats at least as good as yours. And, a lot more people who probably have stats that are far better than yours. So, dude, if the only purpose to create a clan is to buff your KDRs or to buff your team wins and stats, during pubs, then, dude, do something else. Like, seriously. But once again, this is just my own position. And once we get the full clan loadout, I'll probably be looking for a clan for anyone who's recruiting. Because, granted, let's just say for the sake of argument that I created my own clan. And let's just say that, I had some guys who are like, okay, dude, you know what, brigade, we want to go ahead and we want to clan up. Let me tell you what I would do personally. Even if we did play in pubs, we wouldn't do it all the time. And as a matter of fact, one standard that I would set for my clan is that, dude, we're not getting ready to sit up here and be pub stars. If you want to go ahead, because in other words, recruiting a lot of times is based upon the degree to which a person is good at playing the game. Recruiting is almost like, almost like an interview, right? It's almost like laying out your resume and let someone screen it. I mean, that's basically what it is when you're recruiting. You're looking at a player, you're like, wow, that guy has good stats. Wow, that guy has achieved a lot of unlocks. Wow, that guy has an understanding of the fundamental basics. I think I would like to sign him up on board. Go ahead, bring him into the brigade. So one thing that I would do, I would say, hey, listen, in this clan, to the extent that there are other people who are actively trying to participate, dude, we're going to participate in an active competitive scrimmage at least once a week. Like, in other words, let me know your schedule. Let me know what days are good for you. But we're not just going to be sitting up here with a fancy tag next to our name, identifying ourselves. No, dude, if you're going to be a part of this clan, then we need to coordinate at least one day out of the week to get some scrims in. Because this is when you learn something about your team. This is when you learn something about your strengths and your weaknesses when you're challenged by playing other competitive teams. Not dominating pubs. Not dominating sub 300 challenge, not dominating sub 300s or sub 200s or sub 400s. No, not dominating them. Not dominating people who are brand new to the game. No, challenging yourself against other competitive squads. That would be one thing that I would do. And as the leader of the clan, I would ensure that I would be in communications with other guys. Because granted, everyone has their egos. Everybody want to be number one and all that. But I would make sure that I at least have a cordial relationship with a lot of these other clans to say, hey, listen, guys, if you guys, you want to do a scrimmage, let's go ahead and schedule something. And once we make that coordination, then I'll go ahead and let my guys know, like, hey, dudes, if you guys want to be in the brigade, you need to plan that once a week we're going to do some scrims. Now, if you want to do some pubs, yeah, pubs are fine. But we need to do some scrims. In addition to that, we probably need to set up, coordinate amongst ourselves, lock down a map, right? Put a passcode so that people can't join it. And we're going to study these maps. Because in other words, we want to get good. We want to be competitive. We want to at least try to be one of the best clans out there. So if you're not doing this, then what's the whole point of becoming a clan? Anyway, please let me know your thoughts on clans out there, because I'm really interested. Because once again, this team that I'm up against, and actually I can't really say I'm up against, that our team is up against, like I used to be a part of them, but I left for this exact reason. All of these guys are stacked, dominating pubs. But at the end of the day, you know, the lowly old brigade, dude, I have the most kills. I have the most kills. Like with all these all-stars, I have the most kills. And actually, I didn't even do too well. As a matter of fact, my KDR, at least in this particular game, because keep in mind, I'm not a KDR whore, right? But it is good to see, especially when you're playing against other competitive people, like how you fare as far as your kills to your deaths. Usually I do the worst when I play against other competitive teams. And it wasn't really all that bad. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't all that bad. But anyway, go ahead, let your, I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say in the comment section about clans. And I hope you guys enjoyed the commentary. And hey, until next time, Martyrs Brigade is